Should we be taking cultured foods in any way for the damage from the antibiotics? Is that part of the solution?
Well, I could address that. I mean, probably one of the most beneficial contributions to longevity and health was somebody who wasn't a physician, like you, who did a great contribution, and said, who lives the longest? One says this, another says this, that guy says this. But let's say, who lives the longest? So they went around and they created the 5 blue zones. Now they've added a 6th, but let's talk about the 5 blue zones. And they found out that 4 of these groups, and they're very small groups, they're not countries or provinces or states, but small groups. We have one in America, in Loma Linda, California. 4 of them, on a consistent basis, consume what? Probiotics. Sauerkraut, kimchi, something of this nature. Why? Because it affects the what system? The immune system. So is it a healthy thing? Well, it's part of the Hippocrates diet. We create raw, within 2 to 3 days, we create excellent, living, incredibly bacterial-rich sauerkraut. Anyone can do this. It takes no time. It's easy in your own kitchen.
I think the exposure to microbes in general is important, and that's a really easy way to do it. I mean, it's like you talked about doing gardening with your kids. What an awesome way to expose your kids to soil microbes, but then if you take those vegetables and ferment them, it's kind of like getting your more bang for your buck, right? And plus, kids love sour things anyway, pickles and those kinds of things. So those aren't necessarily that hard to incorporate for kids. I think cultured foods are really important, but I think that one of the main reasons we need cultured foods so desperately right now is because of what we've done to our microbiome. I really feel like we have altered the human microbiome so significantly in the last 50 to 75 years that there are some researchers who say if you take 1 course of antibiotics, you can never restore your microbiome to the way it was. I don't know the science on that. I don't know how that, the microbiome science is coming out just so fast and furiously right now because for so long, we didn't really know much about it, but there's so much research coming out now. I think pretty much everyone has decided that that is such an important key to health, is maintaining the microbiome. Cultured foods are one way. Of course, bioindividuality, again, some people really have a hard time with histamine intolerance, so they have to work with somebody who can, histamine intolerance can be a problem with cultured foods. So if that's something that you can't tolerate, I think you work with a practitioner who knows how to help you incorporate those kinds of things and not have problems.
I'll jump in to answer the question you just asked. As you said, some of the experts in this are now suggesting that after 1 antibiotic or 1 fast food meal, you permanently disturb. It's true. And here's why that's true. Nature is extraordinary and perfect. How many of you know what colostrum is? So a colostrum is this wonderfully rich, dark substance that comes out of the mother's breast when the baby's first born and starts to suckle. Do you realize that that's where you get bacteria? Prebiotics, probiotics, perfect pre and probiotics for the rest of your life. If you lived well and healthy, as our ancestors did, it wasn't a choice for them, a century or behind that, that literally took care of them, took care of their immune system. MIT did a study 38 years ago, showed that 1 soda wiped that out, no less than antibiotic. 1 soda. So we do not have the wisdom and the intelligence and the genius. This is why a growing field for colitis is being spearheaded by very courageous doctors. I spoke about this today in the private session I had here, where they actually take these poor people with colitis and take fecal matter, generally out of healthy children, and implant it into the intestines of these children, and are getting a 70% reversal rate in colitis. And MIT, by the way, sees this as such a promising future in science. They have I jokingly call it the poop bank, where they're doing great research to see which bacteria in which fecal matter is best for which level or type of colitis, diverticulitis. So it's pretty fragile but incredibly powerful. It's like everything else on this earth. The planet is amazing. It goes around in space. floating out here, and it sustains life, and we're destroying it.
And not only is it important what we eat, but how we eat. And the idea of, even if it's a single parent family or two siblings, to sit together and have a moment of silence or a blessing, or somehow centering ourselves and not allowing phones or the TV or the radio to be on, and encouraging good conversation. A lot of times, you know, asking, what was the best part of your day today? What was the rose of your day? What was the thorn? And finding some creative ways to bring out conversation, and let it be something that they look forward to, not be a time where there's you know, judgment or hassling or bossiness going on. But everyone has a chance to talk, so that's really important, a value to keep alive. And a lot of people don't get that. The kids eat, and then, you know, mom or dad come home later, but at least one meal a day together as a family, whatever that family looks like.